Hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. Hi, I'm Mika. This is Leap Taken. And here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today I am going to talk about some fiction books. I talk a lot about witchy books in general, but these are witchy books, but they are fiction. So the book in question is The Witch of Key Lime Court. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the cover of this. I got my Kindle here, sorry. Come on, respond. Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, I want to get into these. I'm going to show you the cover of it's a series, but this is it. The Witches of Key Lime Lane by Gabrielle Keyes. This is one of those women paranormal fiction books. The book is, the main character is a 40-plus-year-old woman, which I like. I love, I kind of want to get into this thing with paranormal fiction where it's featuring 40-plus-year-old women who are usually going through some sort of, like, midlife crisis. The joke is that these women always are getting a divorce or getting left, cheated on, find out the husband is gay. I think there's a book out there where the husband actually died as opposed to her being left. But yeah, this is it's one where the husband is kind of a jerk. He cheats on her and she's forced to have to start over again, this whole new life. So it is one of those kind of stories. But that seems to be the trend, like I said, with most of the paranormal books that are out there. I mean, you could it gets old after a while because you're like, all right, is there anything else, on the market right now besides that particular story? But it is what it is. I like it right now. I'm not sick of it. It's not a problem for me, so I enjoy it. Hi, Dylan. But yeah, I like it. I enjoy these. I'm kind of having fun reading a good amount of these. But Gabrielle Keyes, I like the way she writes. The first book, what took a hold on me was she actually used real witchcraft, for lack of better words. It wasn't fantasy. It wasn't like, the character could just all of a sudden do these things. It was the way kind of magic really works, where they did a moon ritual. I think it was a full moon ritual. Yes, thank you for making it. Thank you. And I'm just getting started too. But yeah, so let me just read. So Gabrielle Keyes, let's get back to the author, because I like to express who that is. She's a paranormal women's fiction pen name of Gabby Triani, best-selling horror author of 20 novels for teens, adults, including Haunted Florida series. By the way, the book is set in Florida, but I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, she is killing it with this book. Let me get into the synopsis of the book. I'm about to go deep in. I didn't even talk about it. A middle-aged woman at rock bottom. It's funny. It's when I always thought middle-aged, fun fact, was like 50 plus. I don't know why, but apparently that middle age is your 40s because the expected life, I guess, expectancy is about 80 something years old. So middle age is 40. Anyway, a middle-aged woman at rock bottom, an ex who took it all, and an old Victorian cottage awaiting new life. Already I'm in. For 22 years, her name is Katja. Katja Miller. Katja Miller. First of all, don't you love that name? I love a character with a unique name. Anyway, was a good wife to her husband, an excellent mother to two daughters, now in college. Kids are all grown. I like that. And in most of these women's paranormal fiction. And a volunteer at her church's community bookshop. But even in a small... I'm reading the wrong one. This is for book 2. Y'all stay with me. Forgive me. I was trying to get them all lined up and I had the wrong one on. Sorry. I want the key lime pie one. I was going to say, wait, she wasn't in no church. The book I read, she was not in a church. No, this is the wrong one. Let me get to the synopsis for that one. Oh, that was reading ahead for that one. Oh, shoot. Oh, well. I can tell you the synopsis myself. So The Witches of Key Lime Pay, basically, she is Katja. That's a good book, too, which I was going to get into. But for the first one, basically, the way it works out is that she is I finally got my book copy of Poseidon, a link between Semite, Himite, and Aryan right before you're live. I'm feeling happy right now. Yay, good for you. Why are you doing this, weirdo person, in my things? Hold on, I gotta block something. Ugh. I'm not used to this. It's so weird that somebody, this is the same thing, the same report. Unwanted commercial spam. All right, I reported them. So if you saw some weird stuff on there, it clogs it up and I can't see. Hold on, because I'm like totally losing myself now. Clearly I distract easily. Like, I don't need this. I don't need this. All right, hold on. Hold on. Come on now. I'm trying to get to the dang on synopsis that I had. Yes, I was prepared. Yes, I was. But I was just looking at the wrong one. I had the wrong thing pulled up. Seriously? Y'all know I'll be having them more together. Just stay with me, please. Yeah, that love face XYZ. I had to block that because they're being weird with some weird spammy stuff. I think what they say it's a bot or something. Anyway, so this basically the series, the Key Lime Pie series. She's a middle-aged woman. It's 3 different books. I'm only 2 in. The 3rd one is still coming out. The reason I wanted to do it is because she's 40 plus. The first book, she's a cook. She's a chef. She owns her own restaurant in New York. Husband cheats, and this is in the synopsis. He cheats. She ends up discovering an entire world that she didn't realize existed within her family lineage. When it's suggested to her to go ahead and move out to the Keys, Florida Keys, into a aunt who is in a home right now, into her for dementia or something like that, into her old house that she has out in the Florida Keys. First of all, I wish. Anyway, now I wish I had a aunt that was going through it, but I just wish that, you know, I had like some relative who I barely knew left me a house. I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, unfortunately. I know, right? Thank you, Dylan. No, I had to block. They're putting weird stuff on here. I had to block them. But anyway. So, yeah, and it takes place in Florida Keys, which I've never been to the Keys, but Florida lifestyle. I've lived the lifestyle for a number of years, so, of course, I like that. And they would do these full moon rituals, the characters in a book, and what I like as a practicing witch is the way they did the rituals is basically how I would have done that ritual too. They were on the beach doing it, how they would, you know, write certain intentions down, things they want to release or bring to them, and how they would burn them. That was part of the ritual they were doing. But it was like, you know, grown women doing, you know, grown witch stuff. And I do appreciate it. It wasn't, like I said, it was whimsical, and there were some things in there that kind of dipped on. Obviously, it's paranormal fiction, but it wasn't like it didn't seem fake. It felt like, oh, that could really happen. Like, yeah, it's paranormal, but to me, in my world, that seemed like regular chick literature, right? You know what I mean? Anyway, so the character, she moves to Florida in the first book. She moves to this house that she's got. She thought she was just going to stay there for some time. It turns into something else. She ends up staying. Spoiler, and there's more to it than that. But the thing that I appreciate about book 1 and book 2 is there is a romantic interest. So yes, these women are doing their thing. You know, they've been, and some maybe not doing their thing, kind of been giving in, pouring from an empty cup, so to speak, at least in book 2, that character. The thing is, they have a love interest. There's always a love interest, but the book doesn't get clouded by the love interest. Like, that's not the main point. And I love finding spells and rituals that are in fiction books that seem real. Right? I know, right? And then that beach ritual they're doing, I'm going to be doing that next month when I have my trip to the beach. I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, yeah, so the love interest, I appreciate that it's not the main focus. Because to be honest, as someone who is over 40, yes, you can still get excited about people. I can understand that. But at the same time, you usually have stuff going on. Like, you know, you have your business or your career, or you have other, you know, responsibilities. So yes, someone new in your life is exciting, but they don't take up, not like when you were in your 20s or maybe even early 30s, where they take up a big, you know, part in your life and your thinking and your mind and your space, because you're so infatuated in the beginning. It's a little different once you get older. It's not that you still don't get excited and you still don't get infatuated, but life doesn't allow for that to happen. You still got stuff to do. And I love that both books 1 and 2, explore that, where yes, there were budding feelings, but it wasn't like the end all to be all. It wasn't her happily ever after, and they don't like get married or anything like that. It's more like a hookup, and it turns into, oh, it's a casual relationship. They're not even necessarily moving in together with a romantic interest. And I do appreciate that, where other books, obviously you're writing for a different age demographic, and guess what, yeah, they probably will want to move together and kids and all that stuff, but we're past that point. So it's like grown people who already own their own homes and have their own lives, but they live in the same area. So he comes to her house sometimes, and sometimes they hang out and do things, but they have their own stuff. That's very appealing to someone like me, as opposed to reading things where, it's leading up to this happily ever after life. Which state? You said, which state? Florida. It was Florida. The book series is based in Florida. I think that's what you're asking. But yeah, I really appreciate, like, you don't, I mean, maybe you do understand if you read a lot like I do. The paranormal women's fictions novels that are out right now, most of them, at least the ones I'm coming across that I enjoy, I like how that's the realist. They're exploring the realistic side of being over 40. You are probably already established. You have all your stuff. You have your home set up a certain way, or in these cases, these women are always rebuilding, but they usually like inherit property, something to take them out of this situation they were in. I'm reading another series now, and I may do a review of that because I really like that one too. And I would love to recommend some of these because I think it's good to normalize, which is weird in 2022 that I even am saying this, but to normalize that women over 40 still live. Like, we don't just shrivel up and die. It's amazing to me sometimes, and I talked about this before, how people really think that, well, one, I realize that people think 30 is old. So I clearly am a walking corpse. So if 30 is old. So it's like, my daughter explained it to me. She said, people who are younger tend to think they're going to be this other person when they're older. They don't think they're them. So the best way I could explain, if you are someone who is younger and you happen to come across this video and you hear me, but you don't hear me because you think, oh, that's so far down the road, The thing about time is one of those things. It's just happening. I said something a minute ago, and now here we are. Like, it's just happening. There's nothing. You can't pump the brakes on it. You can't slow it down. You're just with it. It's just happening. I never stopped being me. The girl who was 14, the girl who was 16, the girl who was 20, the girl who was 26, the girl who was 30. She's all still there. She's also there. I've responded differently to things because that's called maturity and growth, and hopefully you learn from having experiences. But that girl is still there. I'm still the same person. You don't stop being you. Your body changes. You get to live more and experience things, and you get a little more history. But you're still you. So when you're telling somebody, oh, they're old, or, why are they doing that? She's too old for that. It's like, she's still the same person. Like, where are you getting these ideas that a certain age means you don't dress a certain way? You don't participate in the world in a certain way. Anyway, back to making a thing about the books. They explore these women's sexuality. These women are having basically sex with guys who these men in the books, whoever their romantic partner is, who are usually younger. I like that. More in shape. They always add that. It's written for women by women. So these guys are usually younger and they're more in shape because they always describe it that way. And it's just it's like a treat after these women have gone through so much. And also there's this idea that he appreciates her. He looks at her and he sees her as sexy and accomplished, and they always write that in. And who doesn't want to read that, right? What did you say here, Dylan? I like romantic stories where they meet and start as friends and grow into romance. And that's basically what they're doing with this. Because again, let's again back to that. a lot. I mean, I can't speak for every woman over 40, but most of us, it's like, if you, especially if you're coming out of a marriage, and most of the characters, they coming out of like long-term marriages, and the kids are raised and things like that. If you really think about it, that character, seriously, is probably not going to rush into anything. She's going to be very apprehensive, even though she's attracted to the guy. In both books 1 and 2 explore that, where she's very attracted to their partner, the person, whoever the romantic interest is. However, it's a thing where she's like, no, I'm not going to explore that. Both of them were still legally married in both scenarios. So no, they didn't want to explore anything because they were still legally married, and they were still trying to, and then they both came to the realization that the person they were in this relationship with, they broke the marriage bond, and they're already on the end. So it's like, live, girl, explore, live your life. I'm turning 24. Oh, you turned 24? And I tried to do things I loved when I was younger. I like that you said that. Well, I'm turning 24 next month when you were younger. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad. That's good. You really should. Let me tell you something. There's not much I regret. I don't sit back and say, I hear people my age say that. Oh, if I was still in my 20s, I would do this and I would do that. I mean, there are some things, obviously, I would try to do differently, but I had my kids early. I had my kids, I had my daughter at 22. So, and my son at like 25, 26. So because where we are now, it makes sense for me, because I feel like, they're adults, and I feel pretty, I don't want to say young. I don't know. I feel like me. I feel really active. Like I have my faculties. I'm still feel like myself. So I like that I can connect with them where I am now, and they don't see me as, I'm mommy, yes, but I'm not old. I'm not like grandma. They don't see me like that. So it helps. I don't know. I appreciate that. So I always tell my daughter, who does not have children, try to have your experiences. Same to my son, have your experiences, live your life. But at the same time, there's no cap, or there's no marker where you have to live a certain life. You have to do certain things by a certain age. Because I feel like even your peers or society kind of makes it seem like if you're not the person that goes out to clubs all the time, right? You're not living. You're not, you're boring. You're not having fun. Well, I don't really like clubs. I don't do a lot of drinking. If I do, I probably am not going to do it out. I'm not going to spend $20 per cocktail while I'm out. And sometimes people make you feel weird. Like that's part of your experience. If you don't experience that, you're going to miss it. And then you're going to be old and you never get to experience it. It's crazy. I'm demisexual. It basically means that we must have a deep emotional connection before any adult fun time stuff. Okay. I'm probably, well, that's the case. I know myself and probably quite a few of us out there. Maybe we don't have the term, but maybe that's us. Maybe that's us. I think more people are like, especially women, and I think more women are like that than they want to admit. And just because they're not actively living that way doesn't mean, they're not. I don't think they're living their truth. I see hookup culture occurring. Yes, in my age demographic, even down to in the 20s, but I do see a lot of hookup culture, and I think a lot of women are just not built for it. They're participating in it for temporary intimacy, but I don't think that they are really getting, I'm hearing it. I hear a lot of women saying they're not getting as much out of that hookup culture as they pretend to be. And, hopefully it all comes to a head eventually, and then we, I don't know. I feel like just sexuality, everything, femininity, masculinity, all that is being turned upside down right now. And I feel like we're still in a process where things are shaking and the fallout hasn't even happened yet. So we're still going through whatever revolution that they'll look back on many, many years from now. And they'll be like, wow, they were back in the 2020s, they were going through this experience that really kicked off in the 70s with the sexual revolution. And there's just been a lot more after that. I mean, when you really think about it, prior to this late 60s to 70s, how we even looked at people who had, who even expressed sexual identity. There was no such thing as expressing sexual identity. You were male, and you can, if you're a woman, you were never supposed to express anything other than with your husband. But even with your husband, you had to be careful because, you might be a whore. So there's that. I still haven't had my first kiss and haven't been on my first date. I'm trying my best to self-develop before getting to a romantic relationship. Well, I think that's very positive. I really do. I am not someone who, I don't like the shoulds. Oh, well, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. I'm glad that it sounds like you're pretty definitive in your intent and what you want for yourself, that you're not following the shoulds. Oh, you should be out doing this. Oh, you should be experiencing that. Oh, you should know. You do what you want to do, right? And what's works for you works for you. And guess what? That's the thing about life. You can change things up and you can go back to things. I don't know. As I've gotten older, my views on a lot of things have changed because of experience. On even like I see right now, there's this culture of dating. I don't want to say dating for money. I understand date. I'm not going to use the word high value man because I'd rather choke myself out right now for that. But basically, we'll say dating someone who makes a lot more money than you, a provider. That's what it is, right? And depending on where you are in your life, that makes sense, especially if you want to have children and you want to be the person to primarily raise the children. Yeah, somebody's got to be the provider, so you're going to be looking for somebody like that. Makes sense. It's a very interesting conversation when I see women who are much older, and they're coming with that same rhetoric and they're talking like that. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, that's cool too. But you're at the point now, what are your priorities? For me, I mean, I don't know. I guess in my mind, I would think for somebody like myself, if I'm dating, I'm not necessarily looking the same way I would have looked 10, 20 years ago. Or in my 20s, 30s. How old am I? Yeah, y'all did math. Anyway, I'm not thinking, I would obviously be looking differently because I had little kids. Now, it would be like, hey, do you like to travel? Do you like to go? I don't always like to cook. I'm not going to be sitting up here trying to cook you a meal and show you my domestic skills. But then again, I'm not thinking someone in my... who, I don't know, if you were coming for someone like me, don't look for that. I'm not giving that to you. I work with the Fae, and I do domestic things for them. My house spirits, I'm a cottage witch. But for a human, no, I don't want to. Of course, have my moments of doubt, doubtful and such when I see my ex-classmates getting married, having kids. Yeah, that my daughter is going through that. She went to one of her peers, just got married, and she went to the wedding, and another one is also getting married. So she's 25, by the way. So she's at that age as well. Oh, how old am I? Oh, yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So she's going through that as well, where she's nowhere, not even near that. For her right now, she's doing her second round of schooling, and that's taking up a good amount of her time and her resources. And then the next part is building her career. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Me of a different time might have been kind of a little naggy about, well, you might want to make room for relationships so you can do this. But I don't know, again, I'm not with the shoulds. I'm kind of do what you need to do if this is where you are. This is what you want. And by the way, I'm equal with my son. I know there's a lot of people who look at my children in particular and just have this idea that they should be the should-bes. My son, why isn't he, more out there, I guess, or whatever? And, I don't think he wants to be. He's not that type of person. But to me, he's just not that type of person. He's 22. He just turned 22 end of last year. He's not really that type of guy. I see him growing into himself. He's still trying to establish himself. And also, he's military, so I wouldn't want to push too much for him with marriage and kids, because that can happen very easily with them. A lot of them get married young, so I'm real easy about even talking too much about that, because that can happen very quickly. He can meet somebody and then you're like, yeah, I was thinking about marriage and kids, so now they become the wife. I don't want to, push that on him. And same for my daughter. I don't want her to feel like that. And I don't. And I'm also the type of mom, I feel like my kids can be grown in my presence. Like, you are grown, be grown. My goal is not, our dynamics change, and I respect that. So I guess that's why I even know all this stuff about what's going on with them, because they feel comfortable talking to me because I talk. I'm mommy, but I see them as adults. I don't see them as my young children. I give them that respect for that. So their choices are their choices. But yeah, this book series, what I appreciate that is also even there, they have adult children. Again, the children don't take center stage. They come in bits and pieces. Usually the moms are checking in out of guilt or because these big changes are occurring. And there's a witchy theme to all of it, by the way. But the kids, the adult children, are usually in college or they're doing something else. They're not really part of the storyline that much. I appreciate that. I don't, honestly, at this stage in my life, I don't want to hear about the kids. I don't, it's usually about the woman. She's raised her kids and she's a mom. She's still a mom, but she's coming into this other chapter of her life as a woman and usually a witch. So I appreciate this book series, because it explores that. And I feel like even though it's a paranormal, it's a cozy, it's not like long book. These books are quick reads. You could probably read these books in like for me, I could read them in at least 2 nights, maybe 3. Like I said, they're quick reads. I think there's a lot to sink your teeth into if you are tired of the same storylines that everybody has to be, a witch at 20, like these type of books. A witch, she's 20 something and she's coming into it, and she's saving the world and she's only like 20. She's got the key. Or young adult fiction, which really explores that. Sometimes that's kind of I'm open to that. I've read a lot of those and I've enjoyed them, so don't get me wrong, I do like that. But sometimes it's like, come on, can we get something different? And I feel like there's been an answer to that. Yes, we can get something different. And I'm hooked on these books. I love these series. I don't like the dating scene, Dylan says, of this century, going to bars and clubs and such. I don't like alcohol, loud music and such, and flirting. What's that? Yeah. Girl, don't ask. I don't know. I have always been, even when I was in my 20s, I was one of those people, if you liked me, you better walk up and tell me, because I don't know, just because you're nice to me, I don't necessarily think that means you like me. I have always been like this. You have to tell me. Which, fun fact, because of that, you'll end up with certain types of guys. More outgoing guys, maybe cocky. And if you're not careful, the other extreme, people who are, a little narcissists. Because they tend to be a little bit more outgoing. They're more in your face, and they're willing to take the lead in a situation at the beginning, just meeting you. So that would be my only thing, just my own experience and my friends growing up. Sometimes you come across those kind of guys. I don't know. I had to make myself become more extroverted. I don't think I was I don't think by design, naturally, I'm an introverted person. I think because of the environment I grew up in, as a protection, act of protection, I became more introverted at times. I don't necessarily think I'm an introverted person, but as time is going on, that's a part of me. I think I'm half and half, for lack of better words. But when I try to be an extrovert, I'm trying to be. I'm putting myself out there. Occasionally, over the years, I've had to, because it's like I wasn't sure. I picked up on like an attraction with somebody, so I kind of pushed myself to actually say something a little bit flirty or something like that. I remember, the fact that I can remember, and I'm pointing this out should tell you something. Like, it wasn't common. I can count on one hand that I would do this kind of stuff. I get kind of bored with the YA and 20-something magical stories. Yeah. Oddly enough, that was the one that I'm writing, and I'm thinking about reworking it so much because I'm so into this paranormal women's fiction. But I want my story to grow, my main character to grow, so it's okay that she's in her 20s. It's perfectly fine. I've had this story for some time, and I kind of want her to grow. And then I can still write my own paranormal women's fiction novels as well, but I want to finish out my first one. But yeah, I really enjoy this whole genre. It's been long awaited, and I think this has only been a few years old. You can even find this now. You can go on Amazon or wherever book seller you go to, and if you type in paranormal women's fiction, you're going to get these 40 plus stories of these women all in their 40s, having these start over experiences. The only monotony is it's all pretty much the same thing. Cheating husband. One of the books I read, the husband was gay. He told her he was gay, so the marriage ended, that sort of stuff. Or like I said, in some cases they die. But it's usually like that. But book one hooked me. It was the rituals that got me. It was, the character was from New York, and I liked that she was used, I don't know, I felt like there was, and there's diversity in this book series. I like that. The main character is white. The other characters in the book, everyone's not white, and that helps for me sometimes, because at least in my world, everyone's not all black or white. So I like that. I like to have a bit of a diversity in my novels, in my books that I read. So that's helpful. And book 2, this is the Crone of Coconut Court. So book 2 is, book 1, I don't want to give too much away. She basically, her life comes together. Book 2, they introduce a new character, and I love that. And that's where we have this woman. She had been married for 22 years to her husband. She was a mother. Her daughters went off to college. The husband cheated, and she took a chance on answering a TV ad, or an ad to be an assistant to the main character from book 1, who would eventually, she got to deal with the Food Network. She was a chef, remember, and all that stuff. I don't want to give too much away. Anyway, long story short, she goes to this Florida Keys in book 2, this new character. And she's different because she's from the Midwest versus New York. She's not college educated. And I like that they explored that with her. She's not college educated. She has a lot of self-esteem issues because she didn't feel like she had any discernible skills. And she would let the husband of 22 years kind of get in her head. And really, she had a lot of self-talk that was negative. And a lot of that was from the husband. So that was interesting. And then she realized the witchy aspect of that book was her becoming more, to me, like a medium and having these experiences with ghosts and things like that. Her also participating in a ritual as well. So that was pretty cool reading that. Book 2 was really, I like that because it got real. Not that book 1 wasn't real, but I felt like it got even more real because there's a lot of women out here who decide, especially in my age, I know they, myself included, spent a lot of time, raising their kids, and you gave up on careers and, pursuing further education, and you kind of just poured into the family. And unfortunately, the kids were older, and, she had no money, by the way. The husband left her. They even say, yeah. So when her ex takes off with another woman, leaving nothing but $68 in their account, she has to figure out where to go from there. So she, by chance, got the position. She got picked to be the assistant, and she gets to start this life. And it was supposed to only be temporary. And most of these women don't plan on moving forever, but to the Florida Keys in this new life. But yeah, it's very interesting. These books are, to me, it's fun, and it's got the witchy element to it and the paranormal part. But like I said, they explore where I'm at, and where a lot of women I know are at. And I like that because sometimes you want to see a reflection of a little bit of yourself. And I like to escape, but I don't always want to escape to a younger character. A character, someone I can see myself in. So I can see some similarities in. I can connect with the book better. And what did you write here? Yeah, in the gay community, monogamy isn't quite there. Oh, really? It's just booty calls and whatnot. I do believe in monogamy. When I see a gay couple talking about that, he believes in monogamy. I become excited. It's rare. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Again, because of the people that I do know, they're older. They tend to be in relationships, especially say women, lesbians in particular. I notice is they are. I don't see a lot of hookup with that. It's more like they're in. But I honestly don't know. And I don't know where I'm at now. I'm still building community here, or I need to begin to build communities here, in-person communities here in Arizona. It's something I am working on. I feel like I'm ready for it. I'm tired of living like I'm gonna leave any minute. Like I'm here for like a certain amount of time and then I'm out, so I don't want to make too many connections. I've been living like that for quite some time, I think, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I would like to expand my in-person community, so maybe eventually I'll know more about this sort of stuff because they'll be around me. I'll have access. But right now, I only know from the interwebs what's happening and what you just told me. Thank you, Dylan. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so book 3 is not out yet. It's coming out soon. Gabrielle Keyes. I love her writing style. I love the way she writes. I feel like it's easy to digest. I can get through it. I get like really caught up in a story, and I really, I don't know. I feel like she writes in a way where it makes sense. There's also a recipe usually, at least on the first one. She gives an authentic key lime pie recipe. By the way, there are other witches in this story. That are in the neighborhood, and they have these moon parties. I'm calling them rituals, but they call them moon parties, but they're rituals. In-person community, Arizona would be fun. Yeah, it really would. That takes some time, and I'm still trying to define my time right now because I started leaptaken.com, and I definitely, that's important to me. So I want to make sure that I have time for that, for my clients there. So that's important. So I want to make time for that. I'm doing a full-time gig right now, Monday through Friday. So got to make time for that. The writing stuff, my overall witchy life. And then I'm finding it's important to have time to do nothing and to rest. So I'm trying to make sure I have that. I deal with people all day and in evenings, so sometimes I realize I need to kind of just like not talk to people and not deal with people for my own sanity. So I need to make room for that too. Let me get rid of this other thing that's popping up. I'm being spammed again. Let me fix that. I don't know if y'all can even see that. I'm trying to, there we go. I think I stopped it. Report again. Anywho, thanks, we received your report. Okay, awesome. So I deleted that. Have you heard that IG, Facebook are trying to ban astrology and tarot? No, but not YouTube. I think a lot of YouTubers, well, that would be a problem because there's a lot of YouTube channels just for that. I know TikTok recently did some updates on their community guidelines, and I think they're trying to get more in line with probably Instagram and Facebook. I don't know. I don't really devote too much tarot or astrology to my channel because I don't know. I feel like there's enough of that, for lack of better words, out there, and I don't mind group readings, and sometimes I might do things like I'm open to that, but I'm more of a one-on-one. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk through it type of person, as opposed to just one big old just reading it and it's like, oh, if it applies, then here you go. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily resonate with me, at least right now. But I'm open to maybe sharing some readings and things like that here. But it would more be like an example. If I filmed myself doing a reading, I think it would be more of an example of reading for myself or for someone else, so you could see maybe my methodology, or if you were questioning how to do readings or things like that. That's how I see it. Yeah, there's a ton of tarot astrology, white YouTube channels. I agree. There's a lot. And there's some, I not all the time. There's a couple, I when I see it, I'll take a look and see what they're saying. especially when it's around like the moon or different astrological phases. I like to make sure, hey, yeah, this is what I'm feeling too. And are you, are they saying the same thing, or are they getting the same energy? Yeah, I do like to sometimes catch up, but not very often. I don't watch it. I usually kind of go with what I'm feeling. Or when I'm working with my coven or something like that, where we're all picking up, I tend to just stick with that, as opposed to watching too many YouTube channels on that topic. No. Also, sometimes as someone who creates content, you have to be careful because people are just filling up the time, and I feel like they're exploring something that really is not worth exploring. They're just it just sounds like a bunch of words to me. You're just saying things, but you're just filling up the time. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. And it's not about any one particular person. I do enjoy tarot pick-a-cards on YouTube, but I would love to have an in-person reading though. Oh, did you do anything for the full moon? Oh, thank you. Well, if you are interested in in-person readings, I do host them over Zoom, however, so it's kind of in person. But I do offer readings over at leaptaken.com. There's 2 versions if you want to take a look at that. And you can book those. I have to update those soon with the different times because my gig that I work, I've been doing Monday through Friday. That's changed, so I can open some time slots up. Of course, yes, I did something. I did a full moon ritual. Yes, I was have been feeling this Leo energy. Full moon was in Leo, and I definitely was feeling that energy, feeling extra confident. And it's good because I had been doing some work, and it lined up with that. So that the energy of the full moon. So it's like I had been kind of feeling like starting all these projects, I was feeling a little shaky about some things, but it's like soon as this full moon came around, and then with conjunction of the spell that I did, I felt like I'm good again. I feel rock solid, like about the things I'm starting and the things that are to come. I'm like those feelings of doubt and concern and worry and all that stuff. I was able to release those, and instead I focused on for my full moon ritual. What am I excited about? What are my deepest desires? Speaking them with intention out loud. That was the spell itself. That was part of my ritual. Because full moon and Leo, being a little bit more confident, kind of just putting it out there, being a little wild. Yeah. I've done live tarot oracle readings. Like a year ago, I was nervous because I haven't done anything like that before. Yeah, it can be fun. Live. Yeah. Oh, live. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm not against doing something like that. I don't know. It would be for a specific event. Like maybe the next pagan holiday, we can, I would do something like that. That would be fun. Have you heard of Greg Locke outing witches that are in his church? It's going viral. Yeah, I did see something on Instagram. Someone was saying you can't out a witch in church because a witch is not in church. And I was like, I mean, that's what I was thinking. What kind of witches are in church? But anyway, I don't know. Hiding? I don't know. What are you going to do about that? That's why I don't mess around with any of that. I don't play with church stuff, religious Christianity. I don't want no parts of it. I tolerate when other people listening. I nod and I'm listening to what they're saying. If they talk about a Bible verse and this, because I'm not disrespectful to anyone. But I honestly don't want to hear it. And that's how I live my witchcraft. Like that is, I don't want to hear it. I don't want the parts of that world. I don't want the world to collide. I spent so much time divorcing, disconnecting, rewiring, rethinking, my everything, and working witchcraft so that I'm not afraid all the time or spooked by stuff because of the indoctrination I had from childhood into Christianity. Because this indoctrination, I didn't have a choice. It took so long to get off of that and to really just, I hear people say free thinking and all that sort of stuff. Free thinking is not having this constant thought in the back of your head, but what if it's real? What if we are going to hell? No. So no. It took me a long time to kind of release that. I had so much guilt, religious guilt for a long time. But so I say all that to say it would be weird for me to be thinking practicing witches are in a church. I know there are some people's like, no, there are people who are believe in Christianity, and I know them. They still very much believe in Jesus and all that stuff, and the passages of the Bibles, they decide to take some of them literally, and they still practice witchcraft, and to each their own. It's just, for me personally, can't be on the same path with that. Well, it's a tough situation because he names all 6 witches, but he also has an address of one of them, and he's willing to. Are you serious? Give out their address. Oh, see, first of all, now I'm wondering about what kind of witchcraft he do. Why? Why do you want? And how is that even Christ-like? Why do you judge people? I always wonder that part. It's like, why are you judging people? And why do we only judge certain things? Like the number of women having children out of wedlock. No one talks about that, but they all believe in their Jesus. Anyway, plus there's theories that those women said something bad about Gretlock or something, so he wants them out. Of course that is. It's like, for centuries, for years, the term witch is thrown out because the woman is either a woman who has something that they don't want her to have, the powers that be, and you assign them that term. And the sad thing is, when I see other women who co-sign it and agree, and like, yeah, let's get rid of the witches. Like, what? Do you not understand this is what they've been doing for years? Like, anyway, it's ridiculous. Well, sorry to those people. I hope that they stay safe because that's not good. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's not. I remember some things from my church life, my Christianity life. That's not very Christ-like to be judging people. I know that. I don't know, that obsession with people leave comments, I need to repent, or, they put Bible verses under my comments. My thought is, why are you even in this space? This shouldn't even be on your timeline. This shouldn't be on your page. Like, why is this showing up for you, this video? Unless you're seeking, but you are in some weird denial and you think you're looking at these pages ironically when you really want the information. And it's okay. I was born out of wedlock, so, right? Well, I mean, if we're going down that road, technically we're all born in sin, which I can't subscribe to, the concept of sin and all that stuff. When I tell you I have completely divorced this stuff, I'm obviously aware, I'll always be aware, but I have divorced myself of all that sort of thinking and those connections, because in the end, they don't serve me well spiritually at all. Mentally, it doesn't serve me well either. And then you start to have, for somebody like me, I'm going to ask further questions on, well, how did I learn about this? How did my people learn about this? Well, we learn, under duress, and then violence. So no. But anyway, I'm not interested. But yeah, the book series. So I'm really looking forward to when book 3 comes out, because books 1 and 2 did not disappoint. I strongly recommend, if you are looking for some witchy fiction that doesn't feel too, it's not like, it doesn't feel like, what is the word I'm looking for? Fantasy. It's not a fantasy novel. It feels very grounded. There are witchy components, ghost and creepy stuff and things like that kind of happen to the characters, how in spirits and things like that. But it feels more grounded, so you can get into it. And again, mid-40s, these women are in their mid-40s, and they're going through these challenges, and I love the supporting characters who have their own characters to them. They're interesting people. I love, again, that the love interests are it's not the main goal. It's just another part of their story, another part of the main character's journey. So it's not the end all to be all. These are not necessarily romance novels. I just want to make that clear. So you can sense that there's going to be something based on the attraction, because they all kind of follow the same formula. but it never overpowers the story where it becomes a romantic story. It's more about this is one of the many experiences, along with coming into being a witch, along with coming to the fact that the marriage is over, and coming to the fact that they're on their own and facing their fears. Like, it's a whole bunch of other stuff. This is just more part of the overall storyline. And I love that. I really do love that. What do we have? You said, he says, I'll get brooms on the stage and I'll fly your tails out of here. I'm like, aren't witches the only ones that could do that? Yeah. All right, now I'm wondering about him. But anyway, this is actually a really good series. And again, the writing is good, because a lot of times you get these books, and I don't know if this is a self-published book. I don't know. But a lot of the books, especially through Kindle and Amazon, you read them and there's typos, and I wonder what happened. And I don't want to come down on anybody, because I'll be publishing my own stuff. I don't want anybody to make fun of my stuff. So I give grace with that, but there was nothing like that in these books. I was able to read through. I didn't see any like typos. There wasn't parts of the book where it felt like it was unfinished, like certain chapters, like, wait, what? Or concepts didn't connect in the end. I felt like everything connected. They wrapped it up. It was well thought out. And it's like less than 250 pages. Like, you can get into this, like I said, in a couple nights and finish it. And it feels good to read about these characters who are overcoming this next the issues that's been thrown at them, even though, like I said, it's typical in all of them, but still they try to make it a little unique with each one, but they overcome it, and they do it with support from other women, which I do appreciate, and a young hot guy. Oh gosh, you sound like a serious. Oh yeah, no typos. No, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, where you get the typos. I that bugs me a little bit. It does, but I'm not coming for anybody, because one day my stuff is going to be out there, and I have, a very good proofreader who looks at my stuff and catches it for me, and, I'm not embarrassed later. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't have any typos. It's an easy read for the most part. And I think book 2, to me, got a little bit more realer. Like I said, book 1 was good, but book 2, because she didn't have any money, she was kind of struggling. And she was the main character, but she wasn't doing like fantastical stuff where all of a sudden she had this money. Like, she was hired as an assistant to come clean and straighten up and like clean up this house, this additional house that they bought out in the Keys. So she was like doing manual work, and that sort of stuff. And I like that the author thought of that as the main character, because that's real. The reality of it is, not every 40 plus woman who has an opportunity to go live somewhere else or do something else has money. She might be doing this, really hoping that she makes some money, but she doesn't have any money. And I'm glad that she's exploring that. Everybody's not set up. She was in a situation where, the husband had all the money, and he didn't have a lot of money, but whatever they had, he kept it. Because that's real, unfortunately, for some women. That's a very real thing. But yeah, I recommend both for that reason. Also, it was nice reading about Florida and how the author, she didn't go deep into the setting, because I don't like books where you talk about the setting so much. I'm like, girl, give me some dialogue. I don't like books like that so much, but she gives you enough where I could like hear the ocean waves, and in my mind, like I could smell what she was describing, that sort of stuff. She could take me there. She could put me in Florida, because I spent so much time there on beaches in Florida. So I could easily like see that as I was reading the story and feel the warm temperature. Like, it made sense to me when I was reading it. So I can always appreciate an author that can sort of take you there, put you in the story. Storytelling is definitely an art, and every book doesn't do that. Unfortunately, everyone, I'm not saying they're all of their work, but some books just never, you're very aware you're reading words on a page as opposed to being transported into the story. And I do appreciate that. I try, that's something, I think we all try. Some people don't necessarily hit the mark, but this author, Gabrielle Keyes, I think she definitely hits the mark. So that's my review of that series. Yeah, so highly recommend. I'm gonna read book 3. I'm looking forward to when that comes out because the books are that good. So yeah, get into that if you so desire. All right, so that's pretty much most of what I had today. I don't have anything extra. I had intended on going to the Dollar Tree, but life did not let that happen. So I'm actually gonna go later. I'm probably gonna go shortly after I'm done here, and I'm gonna check out some witchy stuff. So I'll probably have stuff for next week because of a Dollar Tree haul, but we'll see. It depends on what I get from there. I'm feeling a little crafty, so I want to make some things soon. And I know I'm planning on doing this whole other thing with my cousin where we were talking about doing a thing where we like a whole plan up to Beltane. So like start gathering supplies now and like spend all of like April, or put decorations up at the beginning of April, crafts and all that stuff. Like, you know how we do for Christmas? Like, well, you put your Christmas decor up before Christmas, and it's the whole season, like turning certain pagan holidays into the whole season. Like for me, Imbolc, I did that here. Like I have decorations up because to me, I don't know if you can see my little sign right there. I made that sign. I painted it. So, yeah, like it's still the season until it's spring. To me, this puts me in the mind to, I know we're transitioning. I don't know, midwinter has already occurred, so we're already moving into the next season. So I'm kind of like, that sign represents that to me. Oh, what'd you say, Dylan? Last week I was talking to my dad about witchcraft, and he says something like, if it was real, then people would be millionaires without getting up. And I said, that's Hollywood magic. It sure is. I don't know. I try not to go down that road. I've had to explain that. Well, then how? Because the only thing people would say to me is, well, how come you don't have the winning lotto ticket if magic is real? And that's why I say, well, that's Hollywood magic. It's more about spirituality. Well, for me, my witchcraft is about spirituality. And it's not something that's only to get me money. And that's the thing about witchcraft. And I don't want to say be careful, that's the wrong word. People who do prosperity spells and money magic and things like that, and you're like, I feel like I'm doing all these spells, but I'm never really getting, I'm like, I might get a couple dollars here or there, but I'll stop and I'll ask you, are you homeless? No, I'm not homeless. Oh, okay, do you have transportation? Yeah, but I mean, it's not my car, it's car trouble, and yeah, but you've been somehow able to get it fixed. Yeah, but I always got to come out with money to get it fixed. Okay, yeah, but you do have the transportation. And do you have food? Yeah, but it's not what I want because I really want to eat like this and but you got food. Okay. So you've been doing prosperity spells, right? So you can take care of yourself. So you've technically been doing that. And that's one of the things when you get deeper into manifesting and magic and things like that is you want to elevate the way you approach your magical workings. And for me, that was something I had to learn. And I watched others around me as well. I still send out energy for prosperity, abundance, and things like that. But when I'm doing targeted spells where I want money to come to me, I'm very clear on how I do those spells. It's never about just prosperity and abundance, because my current living conditions, technically, I am prosperous and I am abundant. So obviously I'm looking for more. So I need to rework those magical workings so that I'm not just asking for more of the same. That's what I was going to say. For me, witchcraft is mostly for self-development. And it really is. And here's the thing about that. Self-development, along with that, the universe always just kind of finds makes a way for you, financially speaking. And after a while, you become that person where it's like things are just taken care of. You just don't think about it because you're working with a specific deity or spirit, or you're bettering yourself metaphysically speaking, and you're working on all these other things. And because you're so interested in that, your spirit guides or whatever are watching out for you. So yeah, somehow the rent always gets paid. Somehow, there's always gas money. Sometimes somehow, some way, there's just always stuff. Like, there's always things you're just able to somehow come through. And that's magic, but people don't see that. They don't think of that as magic. Instead, they think, well, where's the winning lottery ticket? I've gotten picked within the last week, and I'm going to buy a reading from you. Said, oh, thank you. I'm excited. It's going to be my first reading. Oh, good. Oh, then, well, it'll have to be even more special. They're all special, by the way, but it'll have to, I don't know. I feel like it has to be extra special, though. But anyway, yeah. The winning lotto ticket, yeah. And it's interesting because I remember when Law of Attraction, all that stuff came out, more mainstream, I should say. The book, The Secret, right? That was out. And people would say, I manifested winning the lottery. And it's like, why can't we all manifest? And I talk about this on videos before where we all are energy, right? We all send out energy. So if we all are sending out the same energy, like let's say millions of people trying to play the big lottery, that's a lot of energy. So how does your energy signature differentiate from everyone else, including other powerful witches who are actually also participating as well, wanting to win? That's when it comes down to, quite frankly, I'm not saying that those people, whoever wins, didn't manifest their winning lottery ticket. I believe they did, but then there's some other things at play because all of our will is being directed. So you're trying to figure out what's the deciding factor. I don't know. Chance, fate, I don't know. But, and I don't think we have to know. That's my answer to that. I don't think we have to know. And I'm comfortable without knowing what energetic form or entity is making. Why was it a 3 instead of a 6 when that little ball came up? I would have won if it was a 6 instead of a 3. Like, I don't know who's making that decision, if there's anyone, if it's just truly a game of chance. The winning lotto numbers remind me of an episode of Charmed where, I remember the episode where the psychic sisters got the winning numbers and told the old couple and they won. But yeah, they couldn't. Now, see, that's something I didn't like, that storyline where, as witches, as the charm ones, they couldn't use their magic for their own good, to benefit from them directly. So they couldn't win the lotto ticket. They couldn't win the lottery because something bad would happen. And I remember when I first started off as a witch, I did come across material and some people who were like that. And to me, I thought that was a cop-out, an excuse to be poor. Just me. At the time, I was like, yeah, I don't think that's part of it. I don't think I'm supposed to be sitting around living in poverty because I can't use my magic for me. That's silly. No, I don't believe that. But anyway, yeah, I remember that. I watched Charmed a lot. I watched a lot, and I rewatched it. It was on Netflix too. You know what? It might be time for me to do another rotation. I do that. I'll watch Charm series. I'll watch Sabrina on Netflix again because I really enjoyed that. It might be almost time, but I don't know. Right now, I'm trying not to watch too much stuff. I'm trying to. Well, the season's changing, and I'm trying to get fit. So I've been working out. I'm about to probably do a cleanse. I'm reading up on it. I'm interested in doing this cleanse. And I'm going to make it spiritual because I have to to complete it. So I would prefer now to read. That's why I wanted to even talk about like fiction books because I'll be probably reading more about that soon. Yeah. All right, so I think I'm about to wrap up soon. Thank you. Thank you so much for interacting so much. I appreciate it. It's just been me and you, but I appreciate it. I enjoy whatever engagement I get. So, but thank you for coming here, and I do appreciate seriously your engagement. And thank you all for watching. Thank you to Leap Taken members, my hedgers and leapers who have joined. I appreciate you as well. Thank you. Yes, bettering myself. Always keep going, never stop. And this is part of life. Here's the thing. I'm at a chapter of my life where, I could choose to do nothing, but I'm not going to look and feel my best. And that will affect my witchcraft, by the way. Working out, getting the juices flowing, feeling my best, it translates into my magic. It translates into this channel and the content I share and stuff like that. So yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. It translates like I mean, this is me. So the way I talk now, by the way, this is just me talking. This is how I am in the videos as well. And, it's just me and you having a conversation in my mind, whoever you are watching this. So, it's important to me to be my authentic self, and my authentic self is burning off energy. As an Aries, the sun sign, it's important. I need to burn. I need to move. Movement is, I need to get this body moving and doing something. I realize that to be my best self. Have a great day, you too. Okay, so I am gone. I'm going. Dollar Tree is in the horizon. Hopefully I get some good stuff and I'll share it next time. All right, bye. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share. Bye-bye.